Well, you know the kind. Can you see the children piled high?
Hi everyone, my name's Nicole, and the video that you're watching right now is about musicians, the good, the bad, and the not so prima donna. Today we'll be discussing how being a musician affects them as a person and career-wise. Now the first question I have for you is, what made you play music, and what do you play?
I started playing guitar and piano when I came here to Twills. I learned because I had a music class in 10th grade and I just kind of fell in love with it, and I love doing it now, and now I have an electric guitar at home and I just love doing it, and it's great.
I drums, guitar, bass, and I sing. So what made me start playing piano was my parents signed me up for piano lessons when I was 6. I didn't really know what was going on. I started singing with my dad when I was little. He was in bands growing up, so he would play songs and sing with me. I started learning guitar because my uncle was also in bands and wanted to teach me.
It's
and
like a whole musical family type of thing.
Yeah. So when I was 14, he said, "Oh, do you want guitar lessons?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then I went to this general arts camp, and I was doing theater, but then they told me that they didn't have enough people playing drums. So I said "Oh, I'll learn drums." And then I did, and I loved it. And then next summer they needed bass players, so I learned bass. And then I'm doing drums and bass in bands and jazz band and stuff. So yeah.
I started playing music. We sung a lot of folk music around in the family when I was a pretty young kid. Everybody used to play an instrument and sing folk songs, and this was the 60s, a long time ago. And I learned to play guitar when I was 12, 13. I always liked it. I think I also saw it as a way to get attention. Make people like me, but I think I really did like and just physically enjoy the process of it.
What made me play music was just hearing, Michael Jackson on the radio when I was a young lad in the 1980s. And then furthermore, what got me into guitar was seeing the movie Back to the Future, seeing Michael J. Fox.
I love that movie.
Like Johnny B. Good, yep.
Do you ever feel judged because you're a musician?
Sometimes people can stereotype musicians as lazy or just not going anywhere and just think that their dreams are unrealistic, but
Yeah, I feel.
I don't think that, because I think they're brave enough to follow passion.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say that's true, that people stereotype me because I do music. They think that because I'm a musician that I'm really snobby about my music taste, and I only listen to really indie bands and not pop, which is kind of true that I don't listen to pop, but they're all "Oh yeah, you don't like that because it's mainstream." And then they also occasionally people think that I'm a total metalhead, or I just go to concerts all the time, and I don't.
I don't either.
Yeah,
I wish.
I wish I did.
It depends. I mean, when I was trying to be a cool hipster, I thought people thought I was cool and hip because I played in bands and did stuff. But when I was trying to be a more serious professional, I worked in the software industry, and for many years I actually didn't tell people I was a musician because I just wanted them to think of me as a technologist. And but then over time I actually started telling people again, and now I work in the financial industry, and I also did not tell many people for a long time, but now I'm more comfortable about it, and I found that people actually enjoy it. They enjoy knowing it. They like to think that they work with musicians, and they work with interesting people. So
I wouldn't mind doing it in the future. Do I feel that people judge me for it? Yes, because music taste is universal, but people are picky when it comes to that.
People have this idea that if you're a music teacher, it means that you can't play music as a career, which is a weird stereotype that I disagree with because I love my job, and I could have tried to make it out in the real world, but I love teaching, and that's what I've always wanted to do, and so... Yeah, people sometimes are like, "Oh, you're a music teacher?" Yeah, and it's awesome. So, I mean, I guess you can say that It's like stereotyped a little bit, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, sometimes, some people assume that you're poor,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of ways to make money playing music, even if you're not a rock star. Like, you can record music, you can teach music.
For years, people have been judging me, and not just people that by random just come across me and just hear my conversation thinking that I just doesn't want to do any work. It's also part of relatives. So in my own house, people always think that it's not enough money, that I need to be someone else instead of what I want to be, just so that way I don't have difficult time surviving in this world. It's very hard to try to accept myself into trying to play, not because for the fun of it, but because I want to do it for a living, because I really love it. But it was hard because my parents and my uncles and aunts, people in my relatives, pretty much thought that it wasn't worth anything. Like art, playing other random things that you could just create, being anything that you want it to be. People always judge upon that. And that's why there's less and less people that just comes out of their little shell and become who they really want to be because of judgment. And not just because of random ones, but it's because of their family too. If family doesn't understand that music is not only just to play for fun, it's also something that you can do in life. If they can't understand that, then they don't understand you. And for me, that was really hard because they couldn't understand me at all. They thought that I was just having it pretty much as a hobby. But to tell you the truth, I always thought of doing it as a career. Because it's not because I don't want to do hard work and stuff. It's because I want to express myself to everyone that I know and to everyone that doesn't know me, how things look in a different perspective. But for a parent to tell me, or for any adult of any kind to tell me that it's not something that's worth it, that's pretty much bringing me down. It brings anyone down who actually has a situation upon them.
For musicians, it's like to get to a high, like successful scale. I've heard a lot that people are told that they won't be able to accomplish that. It's basically like I'm being challenged, and I accept that because there's so many different aspects. What's the effect of being a musician to you?
I encourage people. I give people a reason. When I do music, it gives people hope, I guess. When you do music, you have a way to vent, and I guess that's how it affects people. No matter who you are, no matter what lives you've lived, you have music as your output.
One of the best effects of being a musician is that there's this awesome community of
I totally
people,
agree.
Right? Just of other musicians, and you're automatically in if you play something or if you dabble in something even. I have a lot of friends who are musicians that I've met through ensembles or playing in a band together or being in an a cappella group together. So it's just a really good way to form communities, which I love about it.